Alright guys, I'm back with my review of this week's WWE Monday Night Raw for April 8th, 2013, and this was an awesome show. I know a lot of people are already talking about just how great this show was, and some people are saying it was better than WrestleMania, and that's really impressive considering this show didn't have Brock Lesnar, The Rock, or CM Punk on it. But it was still a really good Raw. It was a heel show after WrestleMania, and had a heel crowd, just an awesome crowd. At times, it was just surreal how much this crowd was into everything. I can't remember the last time they had a crowd this hot for any WWE event. Just a really smart crowd, and it felt like WWE, these are your fans. It felt like this crowd was chanting for all of us out there, and just letting them know everything they didn't like about the current product. That's what it felt like to me, is this crowd was just letting them know everybody they hated and everything they wanted instead. So I really like this crowd. But Cena comes out to start the show. He gets booed, of course. He's wearing an ugly ass "The Champ is Here" shirt. Fans chant boring. JBL and Cole, or JBL and Lawler laugh at this. Cena dances, fans chant same old shit, and Cena wants to defend his title, so Mark Henry comes out, and Cena does his best to try and act like he's scared, and then he starts cracking jokes. Cena says Henry has the breath of 1,000 asses, which I can't wait to use in real life on someone. Cena accepts the match, and Booker T comes out and says Rock is #1 contender. He gets a rematch, but he's injured. He tore the abdominal muscles off the bone or something like that. So fans, he can't be at the show, so the fans chant bullshit, and Booker says Henry will get a title shot if he can beat Cena tonight. And I know a lot of people are saying The Rock he didn't want to do the bit with Lesnar, and he just left, he ran away. But, I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. I think if The Rock was injured and left, then I know Raw was in chaos backstage because The Rock couldn't be here to build up the Brock Lesnar angle for next year's WrestleMania. I am sure that as soon as Rock is better, he's going to come back and they're going to do the angle because he does still get a rematch also. But if he didn't think it was safe to go out there and take the F5, then that's his choice. I mean, it's not the end of the world. They have a freaking year to build up WrestleMania 30, and I'm sure Rock will be back and do the angle with Brock Lesnar. Big E versus Daniel Bryan. Big E's walking to the ring with AJ and Dolph, and he's doing his thing, and he bends his arms back and he hits AJ right in the chest. And she tried to play it off, but you know that shit hurt. So Dolph trips Daniel Bryan on the top rope, and Kane goes after Dolph, but Big E throws Daniel Bryan onto him. Dolph throws Bryan back in. Big E hits that weird finisher on him for the win. Miz versus Barrett for the Intercontinental title. Crowd does a "Let's Go Barrett" chant. Barrett hits a sick neck breaker on the apron. He hits a Cactus Jack elbow off the apron. They kind of botched the backbreaker and neck breaker combo that Miz does, but Miz goes for the figure 4. Barrett gets the ropes, and Barrett slams Miz's head into the ring post and hits the bullhammer for the win. New champion. It was a good match too. On top of that, I really like this. Sheamus tells Maddox and Vicky he wants a match with Big Show. They agree, but he owes them one. So Orton asks Booker for a match with Big Show, and Booker says Vicky already made a match, and Orton says, well, you can overrule her. How? How can he do this? He's not the general manager of Raw. How can he have any say? It doesn't make sense storyline-wise. And Booker says, you got your match. Zeb Coulter asks the fans to chant USA when Del Rio comes out. And they start chanting USA. It's Del Rio versus Zeb and Swagger in a handicap match. Fans start chanting USA, and Cole tries to say that Zeb Coulter has brainwashed the entire crowd. And it was a bad stretch. And JBL, I was actually glad JBL called him out on just how ridiculous this sounds. But Swagger taps to the arm breaker, and the doctors are checking on Del Rio, and Dolph Ziggler comes out with the briefcase, and he cashes in. Place goes nuts. This was awesome. I could not believe this. Just everything was perfect about it. It was surprising. The crowd was just all the way behind Dolph Ziggler. It was amazing stuff here. Del Rio tries to fight him off, but he gets him in the arm breaker, and Dolph goes after the injured leg, hits the zigzag for the win. New champion. And as soon as Dolph won the title, the place just erupted. It was a really cool moment. Definitely one of the best WWE moments of 2013. So Undertaker comes out. He says he dedicated last night's match to Paul Bearer, and the Shield comes out to interrupt him. They surround Undertaker. Team Hell No comes out, and the Shield retreats. I don't know if this is setting up a tag match. I mean, Undertaker could do a tag match with Team Hell No versus the Shield. He wouldn't have to work very much. They could protect him and hide him in a tag match. So I don't see why they couldn't do this, and it feels like maybe they're going to set this up. And plus, it's another great way to put the Shield over, because if the streak's not on the line, it doesn't matter if Undertaker does a job. Dolph tells Matthews he knows it's the day after, but this was his WrestleMania moment, and it's about damn time. The fans were still cheering for him. Santino, R-Truth, and Zack Ryder versus 3&B. Santino pins Slater after the Cobra for the win. Nothing to this one. Sheamus is pissed. Orton went behind his back and says he's got this. Big Show tells Renee Young that Orton stole his thunder at WrestleMania, and no one will ever steal his thunder again. And it was weird. He looked like he was about to cry doing this promo. But Sheamus comes out and he asks the fans if they want to see him face Big Show. Orton comes out and does the same thing. So they have the fans vote. And Orton blows Sheamus away in this poll. I mean, 77-23. And then Booker and Vicky come out and make it Orton versus Sheamus. Okay, why vote? So it's Orton versus Sheamus. The crowd, I don't even know how to explain this. I mean, they just went nuts with the chants here. And it was really entertaining. They started doing the Olay chants, which I think legit pissed Randy Orton off. Then they started chanting RVD. JBL, they start doing the wave. Randy Savage, just all types of stuff. I think HBK, they chanted for Michael Cole, they chanted for Lawler. It was just an awesome moment. And Sheamus goes for the bro kick, misses, falls to the outside. Big Show comes out, throws him into the ring post. The fans chant, "Thank you, Big Show." And then he attacks Orton, knocks him out, drags his lifeless body to the outside, throws him into the barricade, spears him, throws him over the announce table, just demolishes Sheamus and Randy Orton here. So I guess they're going to do a triple threat match at Extreme Rules probably. Fandango versus Kofi. Jericho runs out and immediately attacks Fandango. He beats the crap out of him, puts him in the walls at Jericho. The officials finally get him off, and then he hits Fandango with a code breaker. And they say the winner of the match by disqualification is Fandango, and the beaten Fandango has just enough energy left to grab the microphone and say, "Oh, it's Fandango." Just insane. At first I was like, it probably would have been better if he didn't say anything, but I guess because of his character and just how important it is that he gets his name right, it actually kind of worked here. Heyman tells Matthews that Brock Lesnar's ready to fight tonight, but he doesn't fight for free. And Punk can tell him how he feels himself next week. Rhodes Scholars and the Bellas versus Tons of Funk. They finally get their match. I felt bad for these guys, man. I mean, it was a short match. You know they would have got more time in Mania, but... And I know some people are probably pissed off that this match was canceled for WrestleMania just because it does suck for the wrestlers, but... Let's be honest here. This match wasn't selling any tickets or pay-per-views. So if you got to cut one match... this is the one to cut. But Brodus and Tensai sandwich Sandow and they splash him for the win. We get Cena versus Mark Henry. They start fighting on the outside and Cena throws him into the steps. He wins by countout. Afterwards, Henry attacks Cena, hits the World's Strongest Slam, and Ryback comes out. And he attacks Mark Henry. He hits him with a spine buster. Mark Henry escapes. And then Ryback helps Cena up. And they start doing the Feed Me More chant together. And then all of a sudden Ryback clotheslines Cena. And the place goes nuts again. And he hits Shell Shocked on Cena. And he holds up the title. So Ryback turned heel. But for most of us, it really just made him a real babyface in this twisted universe. That's what it felt like to me, because Ryback did turn heel technically, but really, I mean, this was awesome for him and actually really pushed Ryback, and people were going crazy for this. But also, let's be honest, this is not the same Ryback that we saw last year. I mean, he was on a roll then, and lately he's been doing a lot of losing. He didn't even win his Mania match. So for Ryback to lay out Cena, I think it's great for him. They're going to start building him up as a monster again. You know Cena's going to beat him. This is Cena's next feud, is Cena and Ryback. But they really got to start building this guy back up again. And if they had... I don't know if this was because Rock couldn't be there, so they wanted to set this up on the show, or what, because I can't imagine they would have Ryback lose to Mark Henry if they planned to do this with Cena. It just doesn't really make sense. So I feel like there was some other plans going on, and they had to rush and put this together at the last minute. But it worked. I thought it was an awesome way to end the show. And the other thing is, apparently RVD has signed a contract with WWE. I'm not sure if this is confirmed, but I did hear some rumors that RVD has signed a contract with WWE. And it could be interesting to see what they do with him. It'll be interesting to see if RVD works harder for WWE than he did with TNA. That's what I'm curious about. If he's maybe really goes out there and works hard instead of just kind of being so damn slow. But, I mean, they could do some cool stuff with RVD. 2 years, though, I don't know if he's going to be wrestling for 2 years with WWE. I could see them maybe doing an angle with him where he comes back like Jericho and kind of works for a little bit and then maybe does some behind-the-scenes stuff. I don't know if they're going to be using him all the time for 2 years. That seems a bit much. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I know a lot of people expected RVD on Raw tonight, and despite the lack of all the names like Rock and Lesnar and everything, this still just was a kick-ass Monday Night Raw. I don't have any faith in WWE to keep this up, though. I think this was really just one of those shows where everything kind of clicked. It came together, made for a special Monday Night Raw. The crowd, maybe Rock not being there helped in some way, and it all just worked. And it's kind of one of those rare anomalies where things just kind of happen. But I don't think this is gonna. I don't think they're gonna keep this up at all. No faith in that whatsoever. But yeah, it was a great Raw following WrestleMania. So that's my review of this week's show. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on this week's show in the comments, and thanks for watching.